Well, more drama. Kevin Durant responded to someone on Twitter yesterday who was upset with his performance on Tuesday against the Hornets. He said, "When them parlays don't hit, this is for years of slander from NBA fans. I'm grateful I have this much power now." Okay, so he only put up 14 points while Kyrie Irving put up 50. Apparently, Durant's underwhelming performance lost this man his parlay, and he was upset about it. Nick, Twitter feuding aside, are there any trends that we can point to when betting Durant versus Irving props with Harden now out of the picture? And, which props will you have your eye on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of trends, I just don't really think there's a whole lot to glean there. I mean, the sample, despite these guys playing together for now almost 2 full seasons, the sample is still so small. And you kind of have to go through and look at every single individual game and say, okay, who was eligible for this one? Did Harden play? Did he have a hamstring injury for that one? Was Kyrie eligible? We don't have a very strong sample size of what these guys look like, other than a few just chosen random games essentially over the last 2 years. So no, I don't think there's some sort of trend that you can follow here. I get what you're saying though. I mean, it does kind of seem like they've traded off great games in the very short term. I mean, KD was amazing against Boston on Sunday. Kyrie was quiet in that game. Kyrie, obviously fantastic against Charlotte. KD was quiet in that game, which led to the tweet. So, if you're just looking at those 2 games, it's easy to say, oh, they just trade off, who plays well or who scores more. But I think we know that both of these guys are more than capable of going for 30 or even 40 each, on the right night. We've seen Kyrie do it plenty of times with LeBron in big spots. Kevin Durant, probably an even easier player to play with and score alongside. So, no, I don't think there's kind of a one or the other situation tonight. If you look at their individual points props, specifically, Durant is at 28.5 tonight. Kyrie's all the way down at 24.5. So, Durant, I would probably go more on that just because it is KD, but 24.5 to me seems really low for a player who's coming off of 50 points and 9 3-pointers in his last game. So, I mean, if I'm going to make Kyrie my captain in the showdown, I think I got to go over 24.5 points.
All right, Garion, what do you think? Any trends that you've noticed or just not a big enough sample size?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I kind of tried to figure out what exactly were the trends, if there were any, by kind of pooling together. Okay, how many minutes have these guys played together this season without James Harden on the court? And I had to do it 3 times because I kept getting such a small sample of minutes. I just couldn't believe it. And then you start thinking about it, and it's like Nick said, it's just not like we have this wide swath of data to pull from with these 2 guys being healthy at the same time and them not having a third star around when they do happen to both be on the court. In that limited sample, I mean, we're talking about just over 100 minutes, which seems crazy at this point in the season. Durant is the one who has the higher usage rate. I mean, considerably higher, actually. It's 31% to 24%. For Kyrie. Durant averages more DraftKings points per minute. So I think if we're talking about, what we can bet on down the road, I would continue to say that in a vacuum, most nights, I will trust Durant to have the better games than Kyrie. But I think what played out in their last contest against Charlotte is something that is bound to happen from time to time, where Kyrie is clearly feeling it. Why would Durant feel like he has to inject himself in that game? I mean, if someone's shooting 9 for 12 from 3-point range, you kind of just keep giving him the ball. So to speak again about what Nick was talking about, I think that both of these guys have the potential to have huge nights, and specifically they can have huge nights playing next to each other because there really isn't that Tyrese Maxey or, that Tobias Harris as a third wheel right now. You've got a bunch of role players who are basically just catch and shoot guys at their best, or rebound and shoot guys and someone like Bruce Brown. So I'm looking at some of the special props for tonight. I mean, for them to both score over 30 points is plus 600. That's very viable. That could definitely happen. For both of these guys to hit at least 4 3-pointers, definitely a little bit more far-fetched, but still within the realm of possibility for 2 guys who are going to have as high usage rates as these 2 players are going to have. That's plus 1,600. So I would probably sprinkle a little bit on both those because they can definitely happen with both these guys healthy and playing at their best.